As they say in PIHL hockey, let's do that PIHL hockey. Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm Matt Popchock coming at you from the Spencer Family YMCA in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania for some old-time hockey in an old-time barn, an old-fashioned South Hills rivalry game in Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League Class AAA as the visiting Peters Township Indians take on the host Bethel Park Blackhawks on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10 Band TV, simulcast on Peters Hockey TV, presented by the Mindful Brewing Company. And for Rick Tingle's Peters Township Indians, the magic number is 3, which means they come in tonight with 21 points and need a regulation win to move to within 1 point of officially returning to the Penguins Cup playoffs to defend their title. So it's pretty much fait accompli that they're going to be part of the postseason picture one way or the other. The Bethel Park Blackhawks, on the other hand, by virtue of tiebreakers over Baldwin, sitting precariously in that 8th and final playoff spot in the 11-team AAA classification, as the top 8 of 11 will move on to the postseason. And things certainly different, times certainly changing in Bethel Park, and the winds of change blew through the program during the pandemic when longtime and legendary coach Jim McVeigh stepped aside, and taking his place and doing so as best one could, I would imagine, is Mike Shaw, a former PIHL great with Seneca Valley, who was a longtime assistant coach at Bethel Park before graduating, if you will, to the top position. McVeigh, however, in the building tonight, and wouldn't you know it, we see him on the Peters Township bench. So again, the times they are a-changin'. Rick Tingle still looking for that 60-minute game as the Indians have played their way to a modest 2-3 mark coming out of the holiday break. And a lot of that due to injuries, players in and out of the lineup due to travel hockey commitments. But the dynamic duo of Ben Kovac and Will Tomko has been remarkably consistent when both have suited up for Tingle's Indians. Tomko, 17 goals, 11 assists, 28 points. Kovac, 11 goals, 17 assists, 28 points. Kovac and Tomko, number 4 and number 5 in Class AAA scoring, respectively. And they will be the ones to watch, certainly, in the lineup tonight for Peters Township, decked out in their black alternate uniforms for this rivalry game here tonight. The Indians, one of the highest scoring teams in the classification. The Blackhawks have had to scuffle for offense a bit. They're a much younger team, a very junior-laden group for that matter, and one of those top juniors is Doug Hartman, a forward wearing number 6 in white, black, and orange for Bethel Park, warming up at the opposite end of the rink from us. Hartman coming in with a team-leading 6 goals and tied for the team lead in points with 9. Bethel Park, however, their identity has always been stout, stifling team defense, and that's how they won a lot of those Penguins Cup championships and Pennsylvania Cup championships under Jim McVeigh. Christian Strang, a senior, their top defenseman and team captain for the Blackhawks this year, a PIHL Player of the Month in Class AAA earlier this regular season. And Strang has not done too shabby on the offensive end himself, just 1 point off the team lead, and he has 5 goals, including 1 power play tally in 12 appearances this season. Peters Township coming in, licking its wounds a bit after an overtime loss on home ice, an infrequent home loss for the Indians, to be perfectly frank. A 6-5 overtime decision at the hands of Upper St. Clair. Bethel Park, a confident bunch. In contrast, they're coming off a big win over the number 1 team in Class AAA, the Central Catholic Vikings, that came right here at the Spencer Family YMCA. So they've got their signature win. Peters Township looking to get back to playing that familiar winning brand of hockey against a team that's really fighting as hard as it can to stay above the playoff line. And for the Hawks, you look at some of those remaining games, North Allegheny, Peters Township tonight, obviously, Upper St. Clair, Seneca Valley. Really, there isn't an easy game the rest of the way for Bethel Park. And, I talked with another veteran coach who retired recently, Mike Bagnato, at the beginning of the year, and he said, it feels like one of those years in AAA where anybody can beat anybody on any night, and so far, he hasn't been wrong. In goal, expected to get the nod for Bethel Park, is Jansen Sauer, who's played the Bears' share of minutes for the Blackhawks this season. Sauer, wearing number 1 in white, does indeed get the nod, and Rick Tingle, who has been a bit curious with his goaltender movement and goaltender fluidity in recent games. We'll see who he goes with as the Indians are in their team huddle just moments before the opening faceoff here in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. These two teams meeting, oddly enough, for the first time this regular season. They'll play each other again at Prinscape Arena in the regular season finale at the end of February. So one more game to go before the PIHL All-Star Games this approaching Sunday, for us anyway, and we are happy to be the TV home of those games. We'll be coming at you live starting at high noon from the RMU Island Sports Center. The Division II game gets things started in that aforementioned noon time slot. Then the two single-A games, then double-A, then triple-A at a little bit after 7:30 thereabouts to cap off the night. In net for Peters Township, it'll be Kyle Thomas. Now, Thomas statistically has been the most consistent man in goal for Peters this season, as the Indians win the opening faceoff and skate from right to left on your television, computer, or mobile device. Puck fired in quickly by Austin Malley wide of the Bethel Park goal as the Indians quickly go to work behind the Hawks goal line. Comes back to neutral ice, sent deep by Forrester. Camden Martin on one hand playing the puck behind the Bethel Park net. Comes to Richie Woods, right point. Woods tried to center it under pressure. The Hawks are able to send it deep into Peters Township territory. Forrester retreating defensively behind his own goal, plays it out to his left. Delayed high stick call on the puck is nullified as Noah Pecora plays it defensively for the Hawks. Near side of Forrester, off the glass, over the head of one of his Peters Township teammates, that of Camden Martin, as the Indians are changing behind the play. Tomko applying pressure deep on the forecheck, but the Hawks are going to be able to skate it out of their own zone. This lead pass for Christian Strang is chipped into the far corner. Thomas carefully hugging that far post as Pecora is taken out of the play by Corbel of Peters Township. And the Indians come back on the attack. Backhander side of the net by Kovac, and that's denied by Sauer, who was run into by one of his own men as the net comes off, and we get a stoppage a minute 18 into the game. Tomko on to take the draw against Ryan Tierney. And the Indians prevail. Hudson Phillips sends it behind the net for Kovac. Kovac taken out of the play by Tierney. Kovac still fighting for possession, though, as the Hawks eventually win that puck battle. It goes off his skate, and it's skated back to center by Bethel Park. Open ice for Anthony Carner. Carner hits the brakes at the left hash and sends it in behind the Peters Township net, where it's touched gently by Tomko, but given right to one of the Blackhawks before Tomko tries to take it back. A little bit of a bump there by Phillips on one of the Hawks, and that is Pecora as the Indians skate it back to center. Kovac, right side to Corbel. Corbel in behind the net as Bethel Park is trying to complete a line change. Forrester playing it defensively, near corner for the Indians. Ricochets to the opposite corner. Kyle Thomas, the starting netminder for Peters, looks on as Bethel Park wins the puck battle. Thomas makes a save from his knees from a tight angle, and that was Doug Hartman, the aforementioned goals leader for the Hawks, pulling the trigger on that one. Forrester defensively for Peters around the boards. Luca Maeda, who had a big overtime goal against North Allegheny, had his pocket picked. Chance for the Hawks as Thomas makes a save and holds on for the faceoff. Good snapshot there by Ethan Coley, the junior, part of that big voluminous junior class on this year's Blackhawks varsity squad, but Thomas was ready for it. Mike Shaw making wholesale changes before the offensive zone faceoff. Early moments of a scoreless first period. Drew Alexander of Peters tied up in the faceoff dot as this shot goes wide to the left of Thomas. Cavan Fisher, near side for Forrester. Caputo up for Alexander. Alexander really had to reach up for that pass, and he finds himself under duress as he sends this puck deep into Bethel Park territory. Owen Stasek playing it defensively for the Hawks. And up it comes now to Rylan Jones. Jones had it stolen away by Forrester. Forrester with a slapper. Save made Sauer up into the protective netting and out of play. Indians with a clean face-off win in the attacking zone. Richie Woods met by one of the Hawks at the right point, and the puck comes all the way back inside the Peters blue line. Playing it in haste is Hudson Phillips for Camden Martin around the boards. Martin, a quick pass up to Austin Malley. Malley is met immediately by Will Alborg of the Hawks. And here comes Bethel Park over the Peters line. Good stick check there as Richie Woods sends it back to neutral ice, high off the glass. And in on net it comes as Sauer swipes it out of there with his goaltender's stick. Chance for Peters. Turnaround try by Martin. Save made. Deflected in! The Indians draw first blood less than 4 minutes in here at the Spencer Family YMCA. And it looks like Malley got the last stick on it. And it's a 1-0 lead for Peters Township. Malley, his 7th of the season. Just a puck in the general direction of Sauer, deflected in behind the reach of the right hand, and Peters Township gets that all-important first goal. Indians, a very strong first-period team throughout the season, one of the top-scoring first-period teams in the classification coming in. Here's a shot all alone right in front was Kovac. He picked the corner, but he couldn't hit it. Now that's a break for the Hawks. On a breakdown. Kovac with it again inside the Bethel Park line. Drifting to his right. At the outer edge of the right circle. Now in behind the Bethel Park net. And the Hawks get a stick on it. Can they get it out of the zone? No, they will just barely. As the Indians have to tag up now as Richie Woods gains the red line and sends it in wide to the right of Sauer. Tomko fighting for this one as he goes to his stomach, knocked down by one of the Hawks, and play is whistled dead with 12 1/4 to go in the first period. The net again has come off behind Sauer with Peters Township up 1-0. Tomko against Cooley. Face off to the left of Jansen Sauer, and the Indians win it, but it goes underneath a stick of Woods, and he has to go all the way back into his own end to play it. Forrester having a bit of trouble with this one as it's cut off at the boards by Alborg. Hawks fight for possession and win possession, fired wide to the glove hand of Thomas as Woods clears it up, but not quite out. Bouncing puck in the general direction of the Peters netminder is settled down by Forrester, sent off the boards, and one touched toward Bethel Park territory by Kovac. Loose puck at the Peters blue line, swiped at by Woods. Tomko gets it back and puts it wide of goal. Kovac waiting for the dump in, tries to dance around a check, and he'll try to dance around another as he plays this puck near corner up to the left point where Forrester had it. Gave it back to Tomko. Tomko splits the defense. Tomko toward the goal. Tomko shooting. Oh, just wide. Tomko nearly brought one half of the house down with those moves. Hawks changing on the fly as the Indians play it in their own zone. Forrester back to center. Tomko cross ice a little too heavy for Maeda, but he catches up to it all the same and tries to play it in front of the Bethel Park bench where he is met immediately by a couple of Hawks. Long dump in. Thomas has to make a save there. And Ian Mayernick sends it around the boards for Bethel Park. Charlie Caputo getting it back to center for Peters. Alexander misplayed that puck. And here come the Hawks. And a penalty coming up here as Alexander touches up. And the Indians will be shorthanded with 10:37 to go in the first period, leading 1-0. Well, even though the head coach has changed, one thing about Bethel Park hasn't changed: discipline. Bethel Park, the least penalized team in Class AAA coming in. Peters Township, to be fair, right behind them in that category for fewest penalty minutes. And the Indians get a face-off win on the penalty kill as it comes up to the point. Drew Alexander, the guilty party, with under 10.5 to go in the first. And hooking the official indication against the Peters Township defenseman. Hawks on the power play. Aaron All with it. Poke check by Mertens. All behind the net for Strang. Strang near corner. To Carner. Carner, center point. Hawks work it to the left circle. Now a cross-ice pass intended for Carner wouldn't connect. Aaron All ridden hard into the glass by Hudson Phillips, who's able to clear at the length of the ice. 1:08 to go in the Bethel Park power play. Both teams making some changes on special teams in the run of play as the Hawks play it deliberately out from behind their own goal. Hartman skating down the left wing, in on Thomas, who pins it up against his logo and hangs on for a face-off. Tomko against Alborg to the right of Kyle Thomas. The Indians' top gun in a penalty killing role here. As the Hawks win this faceoff, but it comes to Malley, and Malley might have a chance shorthanded. Austin Malley driving to the goal on one hand is knocked down from behind. Penalty coming up against the Hawks. And so we'll play 4-on-4 for 41 seconds, and then the Indians, who own the #1 power play coming in, will go to work on the man advantage for the first time. That was all Malley as he drove the net and drew the penalty on Mason Devitt Rader, the Bethel Park junior. So let's see what this high-flying Indians team can do with a little bit more open ice to work with for 41 seconds. And then some. Puck dribbles in behind the Bethel Park goal. 4-on-4 hockey here for a few more moments. Tomko, cross-ice pass for Woods. Woods behind the net for Malley. Malley, near corner, up to the point for Forrester. Forrester toward the goal. Tomko was looking for a deflection. Instead, it goes out of play and into the netting. Face-off will come in Bethel Park ice. 18 to go now in the 4-on-4. And Malley will finally come off after that great penalty killing shift for Rick Tingle. Clean face-off win for the Indians. Forrester on the off wing, centers for Martin. Now for Tomko. Down low for Kovac. Kovac between the circles. Kovac, right wing side now. Fan on the attempted shot. Kovac playing it for Martin. Martin reverses the play. Martin for Kovac. For Forrester. Malley back on now for the Indians' power play. Forrester. Slapper blocked. Good play there by Cooley. And Owen Stasek trying to clear the zone for Bethel Park. He can't. Kovac's trying to get open out in front. He whiffs on the one-timer, but has the puck at his feet and finally locates it. Front of the net, it's loose, and the Hawks should be able to clear it. They will with 50 to go in the abbreviated Indians power play. The #1 power play against the #1 penalty kill in Class AAA. The battle of special teams wits has definitely commenced here at Bethel Park. Half a minute to go in the power play now as the Indians look for a clean shot on goal. Tomko for Kovac. For Martin. Kovac double teamed. Now they go to Tomko. Tomko through a crowd. Save made. Rebound is behind him. It's poked at by Martin. And somehow, some way, Jansen Sauer kept that puck from completely crossing the line. Seven and a half to go in the first period, and not for nothing, it remains a 1-0 game in favor of Peters Township with 14 seconds to go in the truncated PP. And the Hawks, it looks like, picked up another penalty. Sauer's going to get a penalty off that sequence. And Mike Shull's going to have to pick someone to serve this penalty, so the Indians are going to get a brief two-man advantage for 14 seconds. And just more time for them to tilt the ice here. Martin with a face-off win for Tomko. Tomko through a crowd. It's blocked, and a good clear there by Coley. Oh, the Hawks, they're always a team, we said, that hangs tough defensively. And they're going to have to do that to stay in this game as the first penalty is over. Tomko putting this puck wide of the net. Malley for Forrester. Forrester behind the net for Kovac. Kovac had a hard time catching up to this puck, as does Malley. Indians reaching for it as Kovac gets to his feet after taking a check in the corner. Malley for Kovac. Kovac trying to get it around the boards for Forrester, who had trouble keeping it in at the point, and a chance shorthanded the other way for Christian Strang. Tomko backpedaling, and a good poke check there by the Peters Township sophomore to prevent a shorthanded chance for the Hawks. 1:07 to go in the 5-on-4. Here comes Kovac, right wing circle. Tomko at the half wall. Gets his puck behind the goal line for Kovac. And the Hawks again are able to clear it. Strang does the honors. 40 to go in the power play. Tomko leaves it for his captain, Ryder Mertens. Cam Martin over the line. Pulls up at the left circle. Tries to go cross ice for Tomko, and now the Indians have to tag up. A lot of puck movement on this Indians power play, but not necessarily enough urgency, and one wonders if Rick Tingle's going to be talking about that on the Peters Township bench. Mertens trying to go out in front, but too many white shirts in the way, and that should just about do it for this two-man power play. A big kill, two big kills, in fact, for the Bethel Park Blackhawks to keep it a one-goal game. Mertens hit that shot thin. And up through center it comes. This will be icing against Bethel Park with 5:20 left in the period. And the Hawks win the defensive zone faceoff. They get it back to center. Alborg going to let it go by. And again, this is going to be icing on Bethel. Alexander tries to tap it back to a Peters Township teammate, but the Hawks come up with it. Here's Alborg getting it deep. Alborg and Phillips in a foot race, and Phillips puts him into the glass. Alborg on his backhand. Harassed by Phillips still. Alexander and Charlie Caputo sandwich one of the Hawks to pry this puck loose, and Caputo lets it go to the Bethel Park blue line. Now off a high stick, that of Caputo, so the Hawks touch it to negate the call. Aaron All with it in his own zone. Backpedaling. Goes to Vince Klingensmith, his defenseman. Now up to Hartman. Hartman shadowed by two Peters back checkers for Aaron All. Now back to Hartman, who runs into the official, now tries to center it, and it's taken by Caputo and cleared back to neutral ice. Phillips handles the rolling puck in his own end. but lost it to Aaron All. All put hard into the boards. Oh, a big check there by Phillips. Corbel. And the Indians will be able to get this back to center as Phillips bounces it off the boards deliberately back to the Bethel blue line. Hawks right back on the counter. Thomas made a hard glove save there off his left paw. Chance the other way for the Indians. Here's Malley. Malley toward the goal. Save made. Jansen Sauer, and he holds. That was not Malley. That was Newpaver, 96, I beg your pardon. Cole Newpaver, the freshman. And Newpaver has looked very good as a varsity debutant this season. And he'll take the offensive zone faceoff late in this first period for the Indians. Carner to take it for Bethel Park as his teammate gets waved out. Clean win for Peters Township. Backhand try, whiffed on by Porter Erb. Now Sauer has to make a stick save on one of the Indians from distance. Peters Township cycling the puck here with a 1-0 lead, late first period. And this puck battle is going to be won by Bethel Park. And Pecora skates it up to center, dumps it deep into Peters territory, overskated by Fisher. Look out, loose puck side of the net. Newpaver settles it down. Oh, good alert play there defensively by the freshman. And the Indians will be guilty of icing with just under 3 to go in period 1. Face off to Thomas's right. And it'll be Mertens against All. And Mertens prevails for Corbel. Corbel gave it away to one of the Hawks. That was Will Alborg. Shot side of the net, save made Thomas. Rebound, Thomas unable to cover. Officials lost sight of the puck before it was frozen. And that's a break for the Indians. Thomas did not have possession of that puck, but he got the quick whistle, and the faceoff will come in Peters Township territory. Same two men in the face-off circle. And again, a win for Mertens as the Indians try to clear it. And Mertens will assist in that matter as he gets it up ahead of Malley. Malley trying to dangle around the last man, but he could not. Good stand-up work there by D. Pasquale, the sophomore. Joseph D. Pasquale playing that puck defensively for Bethel Park as the Hawks have it taken away at the Peters blue line. And a hard hit and a hit up high on Camden Martin. Play continues here. Final 2:15 of the period. Austin Malley, the only goal in this 1-0 game that favors Peters Township. Malley with a puck, far corner, out in front, shooting, and behind Sauer and behind the net for that matter. Good keep at the left point by Forrester as he chips it around a man and gets it deep. Side of the net, Indians try to play it out in front. And will the second time be the charm for Ryder Mertens? Yes, it will be. Shot from distance, and it's deflected in! Camden Martin plays some pinball at the near post to double the lead for the Indians with 1:45 to play in period 1. It looked like it might have caught Martin's skate on the way in, but no distinct kicking motion, and hey, those goals count too. It's Martin's 5th of the season, assuming it does go to him. Well, those late period goals can be killers for the team that gives them up, and they can be quite the opposite for the team that scores them. So let's see how the Hawks react here. Now down by a pair. Fisher playing it around the boards defensively for Woods. Tomko coming in over the line, but the Indians are offside. And it is indeed Camden Martin's goal. I'll credit the Indians on both goals for getting deflections, just generally doing a good job getting the junk through. Sometimes that's how you got to get it done. Hawks come back to center with it as that puck is outletted by Stasek. A little too heavy for the intended target, which I believe was Hartman. Kovac runs out of space quickly in the final minute of first period play. Opportunity for Cooley the other way. Cooley high off a blocker of Thomas. Thomas makes a save on the rebound, and Fisher not standing on ceremony as Thomas has to make another save off his blocker hand. Good shift here late in the period by the Hawks as the puck goes out of play with 41.7 ticks to talk. Hawks now lead in the shots on goal column, actually 11-10. Peters Township up where it counts, 2-0 on even strength goals by Austin Malley and Camden Martin. Clean face-off win by the Hawks. They get this puck deep. Thomas is going to let Fisher play it. Fisher reverses to play. Clever little maneuver there for Drew Alexander. One touch by Caputo back to center. Off a Bethel Park skate. Here's Maeda for Caputo. Caputo shooting wide of Sauer. Final 20 seconds of the period. Caputo, the big tall forward. Up for Alexander, who plays it toward the corner where it's intercepted by Bethel Park. Set near corner now. 5 seconds to play. Fisher's got to shoot it quickly. He does, but it's blocked. And that'll do it for the first period here at the Spencer Family YMCA, where the Peters Township Indians lead the host Bethel Park Blackhawks by a score of 2-0. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching it on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, simulcast on Peters Hockey TV, and presented by the Mindful Brewing Company. Well, for those of us who have been in broadcasting and been around the league for a while, it is certainly a sight to see Rick Tingle and Jim McVeigh on the same bench, knowing full well that those two have coached against each other many times, many years past, and many very intense and very meaningful hockey games. Two of the best men at their jobs in the PIHL in the league's history in its first quarter century as a unified high school hockey league. Of course, the Peters Township Indians, the reigning Pennsylvania Cup champions. Bethel Park won 5 of those in all during the McVeigh era. In the meantime, here and now, it is Peters 2, Bethel 0 as second period action is underway as we switch sides. And here come the Hawks. Blocker save by Thomas, and a loud one at that off the immediate shot by Alborg. Indians a bit harried defensively to begin the middle frame as the Hawks go in to pinch to keep this puck deep. That was Henderson making that play for Bethel Park. One of the Indians, that's Mertens, losing an edge and kind of grabbing at his helmet in the process, but he gets right back to his feet and he skates this puck out from behind his own net by himself. The Peters Township captain with some steam over the blue line. Mertens toward the goal, looking for another deflection. That was Malley right on the doorstep, but it wouldn't go. And Alborg carries it back to center for Bethel Park. Up ahead to Henderson. Stolen by the Indians. Corbel gets it deep. Kovac going in after it. And he pays the price from Joseph D. Pasquale. Hawks come back to center. Corner Left side, shot from distance, never made it through. It was blocked. Good gap control there by Peters Township as the Indians come back to neutral ice. Kovac over the Bethel Park blue line. Kovac had Newpaver driving the net. Tomko on for the Indians now. Goes to Newpaver. Newpaver lost the puck. Again, the Hawks parking the proverbial bus there in front of their goaltender, Jansen Sauer, to break up the play. And the Indians have to play this puck. Oh, almost a callous giveaway in front of their own goaltender. But no harm done as Tomko plays it right side for Newpaver. Tomko, double teamed immediately. The Hawks have certainly done their homework on him, you would think. Bouncing puck deflected toward the net. Oh, Sauer had trouble playing that, but it goes wide. Alborg down the right wing side. Off the boards, and Thomas will not take any chances as he covers for a faceoff with 14:44 to go to the ice cut. Peters Township up on the road here by virtue of first period goals by Austin Malley and Camden Martin. Secondary scoring, the name of the game thus far for Rick Tingle's Indians. Hawks try to go forward off the faceoff, but the man in the circle fell down. I believe that was Cooley. It was Cooley as the Indians skate it back to center. Now Ethan Cooley, in earnest, tries to get it up ahead for Hartman. Hartman too well covered, and the Indians clear the zone. Bouncing puck controlled by Drew Alexander. Alexander thought about splitting the D. Instead, he'll slide it slowly toward the net. Never had a chance to make it there as Hartman comes back the other way for Bethel Park. Hartman goes low to the glove hand side of Thomas. That goes wide of the net. Indians clear it, and this will go long enough for icing. First period shots, by the way, 11 apiece, vis-a-vis that late pressure by Peters Township. Face-off won by the Hawks. Deflected puck wide of goal to the right of Thomas. Fought for in the corner by Stasek of Bethel Park. Up top for Jones. Toward the goal. Thomas had to make a save from his knees there. Hawks have the rebound. That shot is blocked. Indians just taking away all the shooting space here in their own zone. Bethel Park, not the only team that knows how to play team defense, that's for sure, as the Indians send it back into the Bethel Park zone. Fisher had his pocket picked by Kellgren, who sends it behind the Peters Township net. Kellen Jones couldn't keep it alive at the point. Indians in pursuit of this puck deep in Bethel Park territory. Tomko on one hand is immediately double teamed, and the Hawks are able to play it behind their own net. Alternate captain Aaron All doing so up the boards, and up to center it comes. Chance for Strang the other way. Strang ridden off the puck and ran out of time and space with which to do anything with it. Jones at the left point, around the boards for Carner. Carner behind the net, try to wrap around, but it rolled off his stick. Now Carter just dumps it down low for Aaron All. Strang behind the net. And now it comes free to Carner. Backdoor play, bouncing puck. Oh, Thomas didn't know where it was. It's loose. Peters Township, everybody tying up a man in front of Kyle Thomas, and the Indians survive that little fracas and come back into the Bethel Park zone. Snapshot, toe save made there, and just barely by Jansen Sauer, who kicks it out of play. Well, Sauer doing all he can to keep the Hawks within reach here.
They'll take that home. Probably need a bunch of those, right? Give it to Paul. Sign in, give it to Paul.
Cooley to take the face-off for Bethel Park, but the Indians win it and promptly shoot it off the face-off. That was Martin putting it wide of net. Malley splits the defense. Good support by Phillips, but it went through his legs. Oh, a bad break there for the Indians, who have to tag up now as Martin lets it go through the wickets. No icing. And again, the Indians will have to tag up here as Mertens was offside and a bit slow to get back. And a penalty coming up here against the Hawks. Referee Hendry makes the call. And roughing is the indication.
That was on Bethel.
Cooley the guilty party. And so Peters Township and Rick Tingle hope the third time will be the charm for this power play, as the Indians have a big chance here to add to their 2-goal lead. 11:37 to go, second period. Hawks win the faceoff cleanly, but unable to clear. Good forecheck here by the Indians to win that battle. Malley for Forrester. Forrester to Malley. Malley to Forrester. Forrester side of the, or cross ice rather, for Kovac. Kovac had his stick tied up. Hawks unable to clear. Shot through a crowd. Good block there by Carner. And Carner comes back shorthanded for Bethel Park with Tomko trailing. Deflected wide of Thomas. Oh, that puck took a funny bounce, and Thomas had to make a save. Mertens over the line. Mertens shooting. That went off a Bethel Park body. 1:18 to go in the power play. Kovac had space, but that space disappeared quickly. Forrester for Tomko. Tomko shooting, blocked. Kovac for Tomko. For Mertens. Mertens does a pivot, lost it, and it is cleared by Henderson. Henderson's had some really good penalty killing shifts here in this game for Bethel Park. 50 to go on the penalty to Ethan Cooley. A misplay there at the Bethel bench. Indians are able to get it up ahead finally now. Mertens near side, around the boards. Anticipating is Malley. Malley bumped hard in the boards by Di Pasquale. Both men go down as Kovac resets for Tomko. Tomko, side of the net. Kovac out in front, nobody home. Malley was the closest man to it. 16 seconds to go. Tomko, left point. Tomko tried to put it through a crowd, couldn't. Now cross ice for Mertens. Mertens shooting, that's blocked by Strang. Great gap control here by the Hawks. And it is cleared by Di Pasquale, and that does it. Bethel Park maintains that #1 penalty kill ranking, 3 for 3 tonight, but still trailing by 2. Kovac into the offensive zone. Tried to go left side of Maeda. Maeda couldn't handle the pass. Martin draws the double team. For Tomko, who goes down. Lost a glove in the process. Side of the net, it's loose. Maeda for Newpaver. And Woods unable to handle that drop pass as Thomas has to leave his net to play it. And he's got one of the Blackhawks bearing down on him and almost gave it away to Ryland Jones. Here comes Newpaver. Newpaver on goal. Stick save Sauer up in the netting and out of play. Mertens wins the draw through a crowd. It's off the blocker of Sauer. Good shot there by Phillips. But a better save by the Bethel Park senior. Phillips coming over the line again, but Malley is just a hair offside as we hit the midpoint of the second period and the game with the Indians leading the Bethel Park Blackhawks 2-0. Shots now even at 16 apiece. The difference, a pair of first period goals by Malley and Martin of the Indians. Indians win another face-off. They backpedal to their own zone and send it up ahead to the aforementioned Camden Martin, who one-touches it into Bethel territory to avoid the icing. Now Malley with a hard hit there on Vince Klingensmith. Mertens trying to kick this puck loose. Unable to do so as Henderson plays it up off the boards and back to the Indians bench. Here's a steal by Malley. Malley driving the net. Malley taking off the puck as Sauer poke checks it to the corner. Martin and Cooley collide near corner, and Martin's hurt. Martin took a stick to the stomach, I think, as he gets up a bit slowly. And a stoppage in play here with 7:48 to go to the ice cut. And Martin having words with Henderson as he comes off before the face-off. Tomko wins it to the boards. Indians get it deep, back to Tomko. Tomko dispossessed by Aaron All. Christian Strang with it now up ahead of the play for the Hawks. Strang dumps it in behind the Peters Township goal. Indians get to it first, but they can't get it out. All down low for DePasquale. That's Ryan Tierney, I beg your pardon. And this 50-50 battle near side Peters Township territory will be won by the Indians. Thomas reaching to his left to make a save on that shot from the left point by Henderson. Well, very much has the feel of a playoff game as both of these teams are fighting to lock down their postseason fate, or at least come closer to doing so. Again, the Indians, if they win in regulation, they move to within 1 point of officially making the playoffs. Bethel Park coming in by virtue of tiebreakers over Baldwin, holding on to the 8th and final playoff spot. Snapshot through a crowd. Thomas made a save on that one. That looked like Devitt Reeder pulling the trigger. Devitt Reeder has it right point now to the half wall. Bouncing puck out in front. Indians intercept. And turnover there by Peters Township deep in their own zone. Bethel Park playing it. Here's Coley to Devitt Reeder. Off a body toward Thomas, who watches it go by to his left. Now sent around the boards and up but not out. Good keep there by Stasek. Good shift here offensively by the Hawks, down by a pair of goals late in the second, but the Indians are finally able to clear it, and they'll take their chances with the own zone faceoff. And it certainly does feel like a playoff game, to finish my earlier thought. Just not a lot of room out there offensively for either team. And it all comes down to who can be the most opportunistic. And so far, that's been the Peters Township Indians, who were trying to get a quality road win, an important road win here tonight. Woods off the faceoff, around the boards for Caputo. Caputo tried to go to Maeda. Maeda was too well covered, but he gets to the puck nevertheless and sends it deep. DePasquale around the boards for Carner. Carner back to center as this puck is sent out of play. This faceoff should come in neutral ice. Referee in music gets a fresh puck. And indeed, that will be the case. This time the Hawks are finally able to win a faceoff. They go D to D, and DePasquale gets it up to Rylan Jones. Jones behind the goal line of Peters Township. But the Indians have it quickly. And skating quickly is Alexander as he's shielded from the puck by Jones. Far side it comes, right to Rylan Jones. Jones ubiquitous on this shift for Bethel Park. Dropping for Henderson. Henderson couldn't get that puck cleanly on goal. Jones for Henderson again. Henderson cross ice to a man open. That's DePasquale toward Thomas. That missed the net. Hawks changing behind the play as the Indians clear it back to center. DePasquale from his own corner. Surveys the play. Goes left side. And Henderson gets it toward the Peters blue line, but here come the Indians right back on the attack. Malley out in front, lost it at the last second. Martin, drop pass, backdoor play. Merton's shot was blocked. Bethel Park again just in the exact right place at the exact right time defensively. Mertens all over Aaron All as the Hawks steal it. And they have some space now as Thomas makes that save from distance on Anthony Carner. Carner steals for Bethel Park. Off-balance shot. Goes wide of the net. Aaron All collides with Malley. Malley for Mertens. Up to Cam Martin. Martin had a step, but couldn't hang on to the puck. Given away to Malley. Malley to Mertens. Mertens around a man. Centering pass. Loose in front. Toe save made by Sauer, and he has it pinned up underneath his pad against his left skate. The Indians very nearly got a bounce there in tight, but Sauer is able to keep it out. Under 4 to go to the ice cut here at the Spencer Family YMCA. Peters Township continuing to protect that 2-0 lead here over Bethel Park. Cooley against Tomko in the faceoff to the left of Sauer. And it is Murphy dumped up through center. And taking it in flight is Hartman. Near side it comes to Peters Township, which is able to force this puck back towards center. Long lead pass, a little too heavy for Tomko. But a steal here by the Indians. Drop pass, Newpaver, in on goal, save Sauer from close range. Fisher retreating to Phillips. Underneath the stick of Kovac. Glove down at the blue line by one of the Indians. Fisher for Tomko. Tomko chips it around a man. That's Henderson. Tomko side of the net. Did that go in and out? I think that puck was in. Tomko believes it was. Referee Music gonna huddle up with Hendry. And let's see what they decide. From this vantage point, it looked like Tomko might have snuck that puck under the crossbar, and it might have gone in and out, but we'll wait for an official call here. And Will Tomko can put goal number 18 in the column. It did go in and out. It is 3-0 Peters Township Indians with 3:07 to play in period 2. Tomko now number 3 in Class AAA, all by himself in goals. 18 on the season for the scintillating sophomore. A big insurance marker late in this period for the Indians as they battle for this puck behind the Bethel Park net. Pecora tied up along the far boards. Hawks clear it up, but not out. Alexander keeps it deep for Peters Township. Final 3 minutes before the ice cut. From the point, it's down low for Caputo. Caputo for Maeda, out in front for Caputo. Backhander, save made there by Sauer, and the Hawks clear it. No icing, says referee Hendry, as Woods plays it just shy of his own goal line. Maeda, right circle. Maeda behind the net. Wraparound try, saves Sauer, pins it up against the far post for the faceoff. Now the Indians with some mojo here late in the second period. After a goal by Will Tomko that initially was not called as such, but was discussed, and ultimately awarded to the All-Star forward. Malley to the boards. He's worked over by Henderson, who sends this puck around the boards in Bethel Park territory. Malley with a hard check there on Di Pasquale. And the Hawks able to clear it. That's Christian Strang doing so. Indians go D to D. This puck flipped up into the air off the glove of Martin. Mertens driving the net. Mertens shooting it just over the crossbar. He had his spot picked, just couldn't hit the target. As the Indians play it deep in their own end. Phillips under some pressure from Strang. Now has to try again to play this puck to the opposite corner. And given away to Henderson, who pinches for Aaron All. Now back to Henderson. Henderson off of Thomas, who jumps out in front of the blue paint to cover for the faceoff. And one of the Hawks dumped after the play on his backside. That was Tyler Kellgren getting the worst of that one. A faceoff coming up to Thomas's right. It'll be all against Tomko. Tomko goes forward off the faceoff. Taps it off the boards to himself, or tries to anyway. Newpaver behind the play, was offside, has to tag up. And that allows Di Pasquale to play it for Bethel Park. Up to Carner. Carner for Aaron All. All bumped off the puck immediately as Tomko has it for the Indians. Lead pass to Kovac. Kovac gets around the stick check of Carner as it comes in behind the Hawks net. Loose puck between the circles, stolen by the Indians. Here's Newpaver with an off-balance fadeaway dump in there, if you will. Hawks have it behind their own net. Poke check by Newpaver. Aaron All trying to provide defensive support for the Hawks. Final 35 seconds of second period play. Newpaver has it, gets knocked down. Penalty coming up against Bethel Park. And it looks like it's going to be one of the seniors, Aaron All, who will feel shame for 2 minutes and then get free. So barring unforeseen developments, including a goal, the Indians will end this second period and enter the third period on a power play. Number one power play in Class AAA has been blank thus far, but you keep giving a team like this chances, that could certainly change in a hurry. Indians win the draw. Up to Tomko it comes. Tomko for Kovac. Kovac shoots. That went off the body of Henderson. Tomko, cross ice for Kovac. Kovac for Mertens. Final 15 seconds of the period. Mertens for Tomko. For Kovac. Kovac for Tomko. Tomko through a crowd. Save made Sauer. No rebound. 5.6 ticks to talk in period two. Well, worst case scenario, Indians begin the third period with 1:30 of power play with which to work.
What? Oh, come on.
And Mertens is going to be waved out. Malley to replace him. Malley wins the faceoff anyway. Indians go forward. Yeah! And it's in! Isn't that a fine how do you do from Ryder Mertens? And with 2 seconds to spare, the captain does make it happen on the power play for the Peters Township Indians. They lead 4-0 right before the ice cut. And Sauer can't believe the misfortune on that bounce. Mertens, a captain, has really come to life offensively in the second half of this regular season, and he continues his hot pace. And so we will cut the ice at the Spencer Family YMCA in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, where your score through 2 is the Peters Township Indians 4 and the Bethel Park Blackhawks nothing. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching it on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10 Band TV, simulcast on Peters Hockey TV, presented by the Mindful Brewing Company. Third period action coming up after some music.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
Look at them.
across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. We utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Two jumbo iced caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino.
Extra caramel?
That's us.
I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides a 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. You utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Two jumbo iced caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino.
Extra caramel?
That's us.
I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides a 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com.
Matt Popchock here at the Spencer Family YMCA in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, where the Peters Township Indians lead the Bethel Park Blackhawks 4-0 on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, simulcast on Peters Hockey TV, and presented by the Mindful Brewing Company. And special thanks to the Red Lines, a local band, for that music you heard during the ice cut. And you can hear more from the Red Lines and lots of great local bands on musicfromthe412.com, or download the Music from the 412 app to your Roku or Amazon Fire. Indians offside to begin third period play here on the freshly cut ice, and at the bare minimum, they've put themselves in good position to avoid going to overtime for a third consecutive PIHL game. Scoring summary to come shortly as the Hawks win that faceoff cleanly outside their own blue line. And Aaron All had a chance to play that puck, but it was knocked aside by Woods. All taps it to himself off his glove, and Thomas has to make a save from point blank as he covers in the crease for a faceoff. Now in the first period, all about secondary scoring. Austin Malley from Martin and Mertens at 3:54. Camden Martin getting on the board from Corbel and Mertens at 15:15. In the second period, Tomko scoring a goal, assisted by Ben Kovac at 13:53. Then with 1 second remaining in the period, a power play goal that was initially, from our point of view, scored by Ryder Mertens, but later credited to Ben Kovac. So Kovac now has 12 goals on the season, and that credited Kovac, as I said, assisted by Mertens and Malley. So a 3-point night for the captain, Ryder Mertens, who's now the third Peters Township forward to eclipse the 20-point mark on the regular season. He has 21 to be exact. As Charlie Caputo puts this puck wide, and that went off the glove, I think, of Sauer. Might have glanced just off the senior's fingertips as the Blackhawks are guilty of icing with 64 seconds gone by in period 3. Shots through 2 periods were 26-19 in favor of the Peters Township Indians. And icing again on the Hawks. And so again, this faceoff will come all the way back into Bethel Park ice. Caputo against Cooley. Cooley helps Bethel Park get it back to the Peters blue line. Fisher retreating off his own bench, and entering the zone offside for Bethel Park is Hartman. A full line change early in the period here for the Indians with a commanding lead. Peters Township, if this score holds, will move to within 2 points of top-ranked Pittsburgh Central Catholic for that top spot in Class AAA. They'll be tied on points with Seneca Valley, a team that they beat to begin the month of January. Chance in behind the goal line. Indians going on the attack. Porter Erb gets it back to the point for Woods. Retreating is Bryce O'Donnell for his defensive partner, Hudson Phillips. Up for Jeremy Poon on the left side. And Poon gets it deep for Peters Township. Mason Devitt Reeder playing it for the Hawks. Back to center. Allborg left that puck for Cooley. Cooley stick checked. He goes all the way into the corner, ducks around the check from Phillips, but can't avoid the poke check of Richie Woods. Poon tied up with his man along the near side now as he fights for possession, but it comes to Ethan Cooley. Cooley in the corner. In on net from a bad angle, and Thomas had to carefully hang on to that one for a faceoff. Now Rick Tingle continuing to be fluid with his lines, changing things up again here before the faceoff to Thomas's left. Martin, cross ice for Malley. Malley on goal, kick save Sauer, and it goes out of play. Well, Malley putting a lot of power behind that snapshot, as one imagines he could with that big physical stature of his. He forces the loud save from the Bethel Park senior, Jansen Sauer, and the Indians control it behind the Bethel Park net. Out in front it comes, it's loose, poked at by Martin, but he couldn't get it cleanly on net. The Hawks Murphy dump this puck back to center. Aaron All over the blue line. All wide of the net. Forrester takes it in flight. And the Hawks intercept in neutral ice. Near side it comes. Sent up ahead, too far for Strang. And Bethel Park is called for icing with 13:45 to go in regulation. Another relatively short shift, or so it seems, for the visiting Indians here, leading 4-0. Another thing you got to be considering if you're Rick Tingle is you don't want anybody getting hurt in a game that is as lopsided as it is at the moment and may or may not become more so. So it's not just an R&R thing, it's a safety thing. And assuming that's the case, you got to respect the strategy. Peters Township, all kinds of injury problems mid-season. A little bit of, well, not a skid per se, but certainly by Peters Township standards, with players hurt and players in and out of the lineup with travel hockey commitments. Trying to get back to playing a complete game, a complete brand of hockey, and you certainly got to say they've done that tonight, leading 4-0 on one of the more traditional programs in the league. Tomko over the blue line, drop pass for Kovac. Kovac to the goal. Oh, that went off sour and caught a piece of the glass, excuse me, as it's sent back to center. And one of the Indians is, in fact, down. Speak of the devil. And it does appear to be Will Tomko from our vantage point getting medical attention, and a lot of hearts in fans' throats right now on the Peters Township side of things. Now, from our vantage point, it appeared to be a stick up high on the sophomore. And certainly we hope it's nothing more than that. Play stopped with 12:51 to go in the third period. Give us a chance to tell you that, again, we will be coming at you live this approaching Sunday from Clearview Arena inside the RMU Island Sports Center, home of the CHA champs, for the 2023 PIHL All-Star Games. Division II getting us started at 12 noon, followed by the Single-A Gold Division All-Star Game, then the Single-A Blue Division All-Star Game. Then just after 5:30, it's Class AA, and last but not least, Class AAA at 7:30 thereabouts. All live coverage, wall-to-wall, all day and all night Sunday on 10-band TV. Now Tomko getting a nice applause from the visiting fans here as we're back to action. Hawks played in their own end, off their own bench, and up ahead now for Ethan Coley. Coley 1-on-2, couldn't get around Woods. Good stick-to-itiveness there by Richie Woods, number 51 in black. And a penalty coming up on one of the Indians, it appears, as Woods got in an altercation with Coley. Coley is grabbing Woods' stick, and Woods is pleading his case that he's just trying to get his stick back. And it's an interesting scenario here. Roughing the indication on Richie Woods. And that appears to be all. I wondered if he would get an extra penalty for the activity that happened after the whistle. Woods, only the fourth penalty he's been whistled for all season. And that's a big improvement for the senior. Hawks go to the power play. And to say the least, they need some instant offense here with 12 to go in the third period, down by 4. Henderson cross ice. Snapshot went wide of everything. Peter Velaceris put everything he had into that one. Indians pressuring shorthanded. Here's Mertens behind the net. And Mertens gets knocked down as play continues. Mertens and Cooley skate back in the general direction of Peters Township ice. Indians on the penalty kill and drawing the penalty, a slashing call against Henderson. Ryder Mertens, or excuse me, Camden Martin, 91, immediately tapping his stick on the ice. He got exactly what he wanted out of that sequence. And so the Indians with another successful penalty kill, that makes them 2 for 2 on the night. And so we'll play 4-on-4 for 1 minute 6 seconds. And the Indians, after that, will get a 5th power play opportunity, barring further developments. Offensive zone face-off for Peters Township, and Kovac gets waved out. So Malley's going to take it against Tierney. Tierney won it for the Hawks, but they couldn't clear the zone. Forrester cross ice for Phillips. Phillips toward the goal. Kick save Sauer, and the rebound comes right to one of the Blackhawks. And that is Devitt Reeder circling behind his own net. He's knocked down by one of the Indians. Some Bethel Park fans wanted a even-up call there. None forthcoming. 38 to go in the 4-on-4. Indians with a little extra open ice to work with here, trying to pad their lead. Forrester cross ice for Phillips. Phillips back to Forrester. Forrester to Kovac. Well, now he goes to Kovac. He faked the pass initially. Kovac from the side of the net put it wide and hard off the glass. Phillips right there for the rebound to the corner. And Malley rubbed out of the play as he spun around. Indians battle back for a puck possession, though. Phillips to Kovac. Indians just kind of biding their time before they can start their abbreviated power play, it appears. And now they will. Mertens comes on the ice. Snapshot toward goal. It's loose in front. Kovac pokes at it, and it's underneath the glove hand and blocker hand of Jansen Sauer. Kovac with a clean face-off win for the Indians. Loose puck right circle, taken by Forrester. Forrester trying to drive the net. He was dispossessed in between the circles as Bethel Park is able to not quite clear it out. Phillips for Forrester. Forrester slapper blocked. Good play there by Strang, the Bethel Park captain. Strang, a very sharp stay-at-home defenseman, as now the Hawks are finally able to clear with 20 to go on the abbreviated Peters Township power play. Mertens, cross ice for Forrester. Now Mertens gets this puck deep. And the Indians seem content to just play the possession game, and wind clock with a big lead here on the road. Bouncing puck off the side of the net. Sauer kept that out. And Bethel Park clears at the length of the ice. Icing on the Blackhawks. 9:10 to play, third period. Now, sometimes it's not how many power play goals you score. It's when you score them. And, again, this Bethel Park penalty kill had done such a phenomenal job through nearly 2 full periods against the #1 power play in the classification, but the Indians just kept being relentless all the way to that final whistle of the second period, and Mertens and Kovac teaming up for that goal right before the buzzer that just had to be a kick in the teeth to the Hawks as Sauer covers. And Bethel Park really hasn't been generating a ton of pressure offensively since. But coming the other way and putting it off the stick knob of Kyle Thomas is Doug Hartman. Peters counterattacking. Jeremy Poon into the glove hand of Sauer, off the glove hand of Sauer, I should say, off the protective netting and out of play. To the corner it comes. Ian Marinick around the boards for Kellgren. And Kellgren gets it back to center red for Bethel Park. Indians dump it right back in as we hit the midpoint of period 3. Peters Township with a commanding 4-0 lead here over the Bethel Park Blackhawks at the Spencer Family YMCA. This puck battle won by the Indians. Corbel from distance. That went wide of the Bethel Park goal. And Kellgren gets it back to center. Up ahead for Marinick. Marinick hit hard into the Indians bench by Richie Woods. Bethel Park plays it behind their own goal, and going down, perhaps trying to draw a penalty there, was Owen Stasek. Indians steal the puck to the corner for Alexander. Alexander trying to dance around Di Pasquale, and Di Pasquale wins the battle. Gains the red line and sends it deep as Mike Shaw wants to change on the fly here with under 7.5 to go. Tomko to himself over the blue line. Tomko on the backhand, sticked aside by Sauer to the far corner. Indians retreat back to neutral ice. Tomko on one hand now as he ducks around a check. Tomko hits the brakes in the corner, centers it for Kovac. Kovac around a man, couldn't get a shot on goal though. The dynamic duo trying to wave those magic wands again. Kovac clears the zone for the Indians. Bethel Park at center, sends it up to Henderson. Henderson gets it deep. Ethan Coley going in after the dump in. Coley met immediately by Phillips. 50-50 battle won by Hudson Phillips. And a hard check there on Coley by one of the Indians. That was Tomko. Now Tomko retaliating against Hartman. Aaron All has it for the Hawks. He sends it around the boards and up to the point for Di Pasquale. Di Pasquale through a crowd. Kick save there by Thomas. Aaron All has the rebound. All in the far corner. Worked over by Fisher. Hit from behind by Tomko. Cooley knocked down from behind. Play continues. Turnaround shot by Hartman. Blocker save by Kyle Thomas. And now a whistle sounds, and what's the call here? Hooking indicated by Hendry behind the play. And Kavan Fisher is going to be sent off with 6 minutes to go in the game. A third power play opportunity for the Blackhawks. Strang against Malley. Peters wins the faceoff to begin the penalty kill, but the Hawks take it over. Shot from distance, save made Thomas. Rebound side of the net, and digging for it was Strang after the shot by Carner initially, but Thomas hung on. Quick shot off the faceoff, and that one is going to be taken by Alborg. Caught a body and went wide. Malley unable to clear. Turnaround try, a backhander by Strang right between the circles. That missed. Shot pass behind the net. Wraparound try, it's loose. Thomas trying to cover, he does, as Carter was dumped after the whistle. And Camden Martin, wouldn't you know it, in the middle of that one. You know, Richie Woods with a big grin on his face. Now, he's certainly earned the right to smile the way Peters Township has played defensively thus far. Under 5.5 to go in the game, under 1.5 to go in the Bethel Park power play. Peters Township up 4-0. Henderson is poke checked. Forrester bounces it off the boards and clears the zone. Camden Martin in hot pursuit shorthanded. Coley with him all the way. Martin out in front to himself. Turnaround try. That went off a Bethel Park body. And skating the other way is Christian Strang. Strang worked over by Martin. Martin playing a good 200-foot shift there on a penalty killing shift for the Indians, who clear it with 45 seconds to go in the Bethel Park man advantage. Aaron All cranks one wide of the net. Rebound comes right to Hartman. And Hawks appear to be, puck appeared to go out of play there right next to the Peters Township bench. And they're calling for the face-off in Peters Township territory still with 33 to go on the 5-on-4. Corbel wins the face-off for Peters Township. Tierney tried to go to Aaron All in the corner, but the Indians were right there waiting, and they send it nearly the length of the ice. Last rush here for the Bethel Park power play. And here comes Hartman over the line. Hartman with speed off a leg, that of Hudson Phillips, and out of play. So maybe one last chance here for the Hawks on the PP if they can get a face-off win here in the Peters zone. Aaron All against Luca Maeda, and the Hawks eventually get the puck. Hartman skating wide out in front. One-timer save, Thomas. Rebound, loose side of the net, and Thomas making snow angels to preserve the goose egg. Oh, what an end to the PK for Peters Township. Thomas making one and arguably two of his best saves of the night. Now, consistency in goal has also been an issue at times for Peters this season, and if Thomas can continue to play at this level as we get a stoppage in play with 3:46 to play, well, so much the better. Hawks win the face-off at center. Getting turned around is Jones. Bethel Park now has to retreat to play this puck, and it's actually going to be an icing call on Peters Township. Alexander against Marinick. This shot off the faceoff put just wide by Kellgren. Indians control the bouncing puck just shy of their own blue line as it's dribbled up ahead to Charlie Caputo. Caputo toward the net, saves Sauer, goes to the near corner. Caputo has his own rebound for Maeda. Indians operate behind the goal line. Alexander getting worked over now. Final 3 minutes of period 3. Indians trying to nail down a big road win here and get to within 1 point of clinching a Penguins Cup playoff berth as reigning Penguins Cup champs. Indians fight hard to keep possession in Bethel Park territory. Forrester left point toward the net, stick save Sauer, out of play. Hawks get it up to the left point. And O'Donnell keeps it inside the offensive zone, played high off the glass. Bethel Park able to clear the area. Forrester retreating under a little bit of pressure from Alborg. Alborg forces a giveaway nearly by Woods, and now it is turned over to Luke Henderson. Bouncing puck to the far corner. Aaron All plays it, and he pays for playing that puck vis-a-vis Richie Woods. Forrester whiffs on the clearing attempt. Second time the charm. One of the Hawks losing an edge, and the chance maybe the other way for Porter, but the man going down was Klingensmith, and he did a good job playing that puck with his glove to keep Herb from going the other way. Now it's into the Bethel Park bench as time continues to tick down here in the third period. And so the Indians will advance to 11-3-1 on the year. After tonight, the Hawks will fall to 5-8-1. Again, each team with one overtime defeat. Indians next will take on Baldwin this approaching Tuesday, January 31st. And we will have that for you on 10 Band TV and Peters Hockey TV from Prinscape Arena. And a win by the Indians there of any kind will officially clinch their Penguins Cup playoff berth. Tomko pinned against the boards by Kellgren and Cooley. Tomko eventually wiggles free and puts it long off the body of Sauer. Turned over to Newpaver. Final half minute of regulation play. Kovac out in front, off of Sauer's blocker hand behind the goal line. And a penalty coming up here on the Hawks as tempers flare in the closing seconds. Now the biggest bright spot again for Bethel Park has been their penalty kill, save for that Kovac goal. They've been successful on all other attempts. And Tomko's being ejected, it appears. And Tomko isn't sure why. Neither are we. Oh, that could be a decision at the official's discretion to quote-unquote protect one of the leading team's more valuable players, which I know can happen in hockey sometimes. But we'll wait for the official word here on what exactly the penalties are with 23.8 ticks to talk in period 3. The Indians will have won this game when it eventually does end, of that much we are certain. And Joseph D. Pasquale has an early end to his night for Bethel Park. So when all is said and done, we remain 5-on-5. So there will be no power play as this puck is put erroneously into the Peters Township bench. Jim McVeigh almost got a nice souvenir from his time on a different bench for a change of pace. Final 10 seconds. Martin gets it outside the zone. Retreating is Devitt Reeder. Final second of play. And hockey hugs for the first Peters Township shutout of 2022-2023, which belongs to junior Kyle Thomas. A 28 save goose egg on the road here at the Spencer Family YMCA as the Peters Township Indians get back in the W column with a 4-0 decision over the Bethel Park Blackhawks. And special thanks to the Spencer Family YMCA for their cooperation with the broadcast tonight. Special thanks to executive producer Todd Kazarowski. Thanks to camera operator Kennedy Kazarowski. And thank you for watching and listening. Again, our next PIHL Hockey Night Live will be Hockey Day Live, in a manner of speaking, at least for the first part, as we are coming at you from the 2023 PIHL All-Star Games at the RMU Island Sports Center. This approaching Sunday, January 29th, beginning at noon on 10-Band TV. Again, the Indians take it over the Blackhawks by a final score of 4-0. I'm Matt Popchock, and we bid you good night from the South Hills of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, here on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, simulcast on Peters Hockey TV, and even watching courtesy of the Mindful Brewing Company.